Hello and Happy New Year. My name is Jeremy Haskell, and this is your Rhode Island Jobs Report for January 2012, brought to you by jobsinri.com, how Rhode Island gets to work. We've had a mild start to the new year, but now that 2011 is in the books, we can take a look back and see how the economy, and particularly the job market, fared over the last 12 months. From a numbers standpoint, Rhode Island had a year of improvement. Starting out with an unemployment rate of 11.3% in January, there was a steady drop all year long down to 10.5%. And while it's not a huge drop, it is important to note that this trend is moving in the right direction throughout the entirety of the year. The Rhode Island economy tends to be a leading economic indicator for the performance of the economy as a whole across the nation. While we were hit first by the recession and hit hard, this last year of improvement may be the light at the end of the tunnel we've been looking for. Looking at our first chart, we see that the number of companies actively posting open positions would seem to reflect the general steadiness of the Rhode Island employment market over the first half of the year. However, after a peak in July, there was a declining trend in active companies. Fortunately, and rather unusual for Rhode Island's seasonal economy, we saw an increase in the number of active companies posting positions on jobsinri.com over November and December. We see a bit more evidence of this late year improvement as we look at the number of jobs that were posted over the year on jobsinri.com. We saw the typical increase over the first quarter and then the leveling out that happens over the summer months. But once again, after a late year spike, the number of positions posted on jobsinri.com was up 25% over the course of 2011. Typically, the Rhode Island economy sees an increase over the first half of the year, levels off a bit in the summer, and then starts to decline as we round out the end of the year. That these numbers match the seasonal fluctuations typical of the Rhode Island business cycle is something to be expected. Things start to get more interesting when we look at the top categories on jobsinri.com, determined by the number of jobs posted within a given industry. This month, we'll take a look back at the activity of 2011 quarter by quarter. Apart from a few large employers, the Rhode Island economy is made up primarily of small to medium-sized companies. Given the number of small businesses here in the Ocean State, it's no surprise we find a diverse range of opportunities on jobsinri.com. Looking at our third chart, which shows the number of jobs posted in a bar graph by quarter, we see that there is another trend at work here. 2011 was the first year that saw a significant decline in the number of social service positions, which may be another sign that things are improving, as perhaps this is an indication of a decreased need. It is encouraging to see that sales and marketing and administrative positions remained high throughout the year, showing little fluctuation. As we move to more of a service-based economy, it'll be important to watch how these numbers compare to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, also known as the STEM sectors. Another important component of the job market is the types of opportunities being offered. In our fourth chart, we'll look at the comparison between the top three categories of paid employment: contractor per diem work, part-time jobs, and full-time opportunities. Looking at our fourth chart, we see that the numbers were fairly consistent throughout the year as it relates particularly to contractor per diem positions and part-time jobs. The decline in full-time opportunities, which started in the third quarter of last year, is something we'll certainly keep an eye on as we move through 2012. As for the level of activity, this is the first year in a while that we saw a true spike in the activity on jobsinri.com. With more activity from smaller companies, big changes in enterprise hiring trends, and more people looking to take control of their own employment destiny, we expect to see high levels of activity throughout 2012. And as always, we'd like to hear from you and what topics you'd like to discuss. Share your questions, challenges, and successes. You can find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and obviously you have us here on YouTube. And that wraps up the Jobs Report for January 2012. I'm Jeremy Haskell. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, while you make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give.